BBC Radio 2 listeners have been left furious after host Scott Mills introduced the Beatles as the original boy band before playing their last song featuring all four members. BBC Radio 2 presenter Scott Mills treated his listeners to the very first play of the Beatles song, Now and Then. Before playing the highly anticipated track, the 50-year-old introduced Paul McCartney, John Lennon, Ringo Starr and George Harrison as the original boy band, which annoyed many of their fans. Mark raged on X, formerly known as Twitter. Scott Mills describing the Beatles as the original boy band epitomizes everything that's wrong with Radio 2 nowadays. #BBC Radio 2. Steve wrote, at Scott_Mills, the Beatles weren't a boy band. They were singers, songwriters, musicians and producers. Westlife and Boyzone were boy bands. Luke quipped. Scott Mills introducing the new Beatles song, the original boy band. Yep, that's right, Scott. No Beatles, no 5i. Rich raged. I just swore quite a lot at Scott Mills for calling the Beatles a boy band. They are not. I am not having that. Pete echoed. Did Scott Mills really refer to the Beatles as the original boy band? And Steve said, just before he played the new Beatles single, Now and Then, absolute ignoramus, Scott Mills referred to them as the original boy band. How disrespectful. Nevertheless, many listeners were thrilled to have finally heard the poignant song. Caroline wrote, everyone in the house gathered in one room to hear at Scott_Mills play the last Beatles song. Superb moment and emotional. Tears all around this end. The time and care that went into the making of that. Absolutely loved it. Siotara added. Wow, very moving track by at the Beatles on at BBC Radio 2 with at Scott_Mills. It really pulls on the heart on so many levels. People I've loved and lost. The loss of John Lennon for the other Beatles, and the world. Just so much poignancy. And Anne gushed. At Scott_Mills, could the day get any better? New Beatles track and now you're playing #David Cassidy you beauty. Now and Then has been 45 years in the making with the vocals recorded by John Lennon in 1978, 2 years before his death. Now and Then has been 45 years in the making with the vocals recorded by John Lennon in 1978, 2 years before his death. It was finished in the studio last year by Paul and Ringo. George also appears via guitar parts he recorded in 1995. Fans of the band have reacted with delight at the brand new track. Oasis star Liam Gallagher tweeted that it is absolutely incredible, biblical, celestial, heartbreaking and heartwarming all at the same time.